Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to do another video on what I learned from a different training method. Like I said, in the 90s and the first years of the 2000s, I was having a lot of trouble getting injured while running. I think a lot of it was due to me overstriding. I had orthotics, which helped with the problem. I had my podiatrist adjust my orthotics, so I was able to complete some marathons in 2003 and 2004. But I was still looking for ways to prevent getting injured when my miles built up. It seemed like every time my mileage got over about 40 miles per week, I would get injured. Well, there was a article that came out in Runner's World, and I can't remember the year. I think it was 2005 or 2006. About the Furman First program. It was a program developed by a couple of professors and that also taught had some running camps and taught some running at Furman University. Bill Pierce and Scott Muir, and they had a new colleague that came over that used to work with the legendary Jack Daniels, the exercise physiologist and also considered one of the greatest coaches. Ray Moss came over. So the three of them came up with a method to where you could complete a marathon and shoot for times running just 3 days a week. I started following that program. I used it for a couple of cycles. They came out with a book, and you can see it was Runner's World helped publish it, called Run Less, Run Faster. The program was predicated on running just 3 days a week. You would run one day with speed work, another day you would do a tempo run, and then you would do a long run on the weekend. Instead of doing easy runs or recovery runs, you would substitute and do 2 days of aerobic type cross training, swimming, cycling, any sort of activity that gets your heart up and would keep your impact down. The idea being that people would be more interested, it would break up their week, and it also was hopefully going to be less time consuming. Hard sessions on the track. For the half marathon, there were quite a few short intervals mixed with some long intervals. For their marathon program, most weeks were long intervals of 800 meters or longer sort of intervals at prescribed paces depending on what marathon time you were shooting for. Tempo paces, of course, and most of the long runs that they did were at marathon pace. The vast majority, you did the majority of your miles at marathon pace. And then you were supposed to go spend a couple hours a week doing cross training. I found that the program does work. I did it for a couple cycles. I was able to, on significantly less mileage, still kind of hit my goal times. I will say I ended up kind of going away from it because even though it worked, program worked very well, but I kind of missed having shorter, easier runs. I enjoy going out for an easy, slow run and not without stress, or running with friends at the pace they run at. Whereas this thing with your 3 days a week, you had very prescribed paces, and I actually got to where I would dread occasionally some of my runs. So I really just didn't enjoy it as much. And then also as far as I was starting to be interested in running more ultra marathons, and I did not feel like I was getting without having any of the medium and shorter recovery sort of runs, I felt like my base was just not quite as there, and I didn't feel like I was quite as prepared for ultra marathons. But for a marathon and getting it in with minimal running, it worked. Anyway, so if you are looking for a method that will allow you to still finish marathons and half marathons and still go for goal times, and you don't mind giving up your shorter, easier runs, and you're willing to do cross training, this is a very good book to look into, a very good method to look into. I found that it worked and was successful. For me personally, I wanted more base, and I enjoy the easy runs. So, and then once I was able to fix my stride where I wasn't overstriding back in like 2009, 2010, I wasn't becoming injured as much from adding mileage. So I found that I could add more miles and felt like my base was better. It helped me more in ultra marathons. And my results were very similar. I still think that the way to go, for me personally, I think the way to go is an approach where you're running 80 to 90% of your stuff at easy pace, but then you want the workouts in here for interval and tempo run and even some marathon pace runs is a good idea. I just wouldn't necessarily do every long run at marathon pace, but probably do a mixture of some marathon pace and some not marathon pace. But anyway, what I learned from the book is you can definitely do it on less running days per week. It just wasn't necessarily easy running. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up, the like button. If you're interested in more of my content or following the series about what I've learned from other training plans, please consider subscribing to the channel. And other than that, I hope you're having a great day and keep moving.